The summer heat in Phoenix refused to fade even after midnight. The air outside still felt like it belonged to the middle of the afternoon, wrapping the neighborhood in a blanket of dry, restless warmth. My air conditioner had given up earlier that day, and every repair company I called told me I'd have to wait until morning. By 11:30, my apartment felt like an oven. So, I grabbed a bottle of water and sat on my front porch, hoping the slight breeze would offer some relief. The street was unusually quiet. Porch lights glowed softly across the neighborhood, while crickets filled the silence. That's when my boss, Jessica, stepped onto her porch next door. It turned out we'd been neighbors for months without either of us realizing it. We'd exchanged polite nods at the office and occasionally ended up parking near each other, but nothing more. She smiled the moment she noticed me. "Can't sleep either?" she asked. "Not with this heat," I replied, laughing. She leaned against the railing with a playful grin. "I have a pool in my backyard. Want to cool off?" The invitation caught me by surprise, but it sounded far better than spending another hour sweating inside my apartment. I hurried back indoors, changed into my swim trunks, grabbed a towel, and walked through the side gate she had left open. The backyard looked magical beneath the moonlight. Soft garden lights reflected across the crystal clear water, making the pool sparkle like silver. The warm night suddenly felt peaceful. Jessica disappeared inside the house for a minute while I set my towel on a lounge chair. I expected her to return carrying a swimsuit, but instead she walked back wearing an oversized white t-shirt over shorts, laughing at the confused look on my face. "I figured comfort beats fashion tonight," she teased before slipping off her sandals and diving into the water. When she surfaced, brushing wet hair from her face, she looked directly at me and smiled. "I've been hoping we'd get a chance to spend some real time together," she said softly. Standing there under the stars, I realized this midnight swim might become something far more memorable than just escaping the summer heat. I smiled, took a deep breath, and stepped into the pool. The cool water instantly erased the exhaustion of the scorching day. Jessica floated nearby, grinning as if she had been waiting for that moment all summer. For a while, neither of us spoke. We simply enjoyed the peaceful silence, watching the stars reflect across the water while the city around us slept. Eventually, our conversation drifted from simple jokes to more personal stories. She told me about moving from Seattle to Phoenix for the promotion that put her in charge of the team, leaving behind family and friends to start over. I admitted that although I'd worked under her for over a year, I often felt lonely after long days at the office. Somehow talking to her outside of work felt easy. There were no awkward pauses or forced smiles, just two people enjoying each other's company. Jessica laughed softly and splashed a little water in my direction. "You know," she said, "this wasn't really about escaping the heat." I raised an eyebrow. "I've wanted to ask you out for months," she confessed. "Every time I saw you at the office, I tried to think of the right words, but I always lost my nerve. Tonight gave me the perfect excuse." I couldn't help laughing. "That's funny, because I've been doing exactly the same thing." She moved a little closer, her eyes sparkling under the moonlight. "So, we've both been waiting for the other person to make the first move." I nodded. "Looks like the heat wave finally did us a favor." She reached for my hand, and I held it without hesitation. We stayed there for another hour, talking about places we wanted to visit, our favorite movies, and dreams for the future. Before we went inside, we agreed to have dinner together the following weekend. That simple midnight swim turned into our first date, our first real conversation, and the beginning of something neither of us expected. 1 year later, we celebrated our anniversary beside the same pool, smiling at the memory of the unbearably hot night that had unexpectedly brought us together.